If there's one little garden ally that often goes unnoticed, it's the humble earthworm. These quiet, wriggling workers are nature's original soil engineers, tunneling through the ground, aerating the soil, breaking down organic matter, and leaving behind castings richer than any synthetic fertilizer you'll find on a shelf. In fact, gardeners who learn how to attract and keep earthworms naturally often see their soil health transform in ways they never imagined possible. When I first started gardening, I'll be honest, earthworms weren't something I thought much about. I was more focused on planting, watering, and harvesting. But over the years, I've learned this simple truth. If you take care of the worms will take care of your soil, and the soil will take care of your plants. So, in today's Soil Sage Chronicles, let's dive into the 5 key things that attract earthworms naturally. Whether you're just starting your first raised bed or you've been cultivating soil for decades, these are tried and true methods that will turn your garden into an earthworm paradise. If there's one thing earthworms love, it's a steady supply of organic matter. Think of it as their buffet: fallen leaves, grass clippings, shredded paper, compost, vegetable scraps. All of it becomes irresistible food for worms. When you add these natural materials to your soil, worms arrive like dinner guests who never leave. Here's the science behind it. Earthworms don't just eat the organic matter itself. They consume it, break it down in their guts, and excrete nutrient-rich castings. These castings are packed with nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and beneficial microbes. Basically a superfood for your soil. In my own garden, I noticed the worm population explode when I began top-dressing my beds with unfinished compost. Not only did the worms eat it up, but they also dragged it down into the soil, speeding up decomposition. Instead of bagging your yard waste or tossing veggie scraps in the trash, use them as an open invitation for worms to move in. Earthworms breathe through their skin, which means they absolutely depend on a moist environment. Dry soil is like a desert to them, and if the ground dries out too much, they'll either dig deep or leave altogether. That's why consistent soil moisture is one of the biggest factors in attracting and keeping worms in your garden. Now, this doesn't mean you need to keep your soil soggy. Earthworms don't thrive in waterlogged conditions either. The sweet spot is a soil that feels like a wrung-out sponge, damp enough to hold together, but loose enough for air pockets. Mulch is a gardener's secret weapon here. A thick layer of straw, shredded leaves, or wood chips locks in moisture and creates a cool, worm-friendly microclimate just below the surface. I've found that after a summer rain, peeling back a layer of mulch reveals dozens of earthworms enjoying the perfect environment. If you want to boost your worm population naturally, start by managing moisture with mulch. Imagine being a worm in a tilled-up, bare patch of soil under the blazing sun. Not exactly cozy, right? Earthworms need cover, shade, and a safe place to thrive. Exposed soil dries out quickly and leaves them vulnerable to predators like birds. This is why no-till or low-till gardening methods are game-changers for worm populations. When we constantly disturb the soil with heavy digging or rototilling, we destroy worm tunnels, expose them to the elements, and disrupt their natural environment. By reducing soil disturbance, you create a safe, stable habitat where worms can build long-lasting burrows. Cover crops are another excellent way to give worms shelter. Planting clover, vetch, or rye not only protects your soil but also provides organic matter for worms to feed on once the cover crop is cut down. Think of it as rolling out the welcome mat for your underground workforce. Worms are picky about their soil, and for good reason. Heavy clay soils are too compacted for them to move through easily, while extremely sandy soils drain too quickly and don't hold enough organic matter. What they love best is a loose, loamy soil rich in organic material. If your soil feels like it's on the extreme ends, either sticky clay or gritty sand, you can still attract worms by amending it over time. Just add compost regularly, incorporate organic mulches, and avoid chemical fertilizers or pesticides that disrupt the delicate soil life. Worms are sensitive to chemicals, so the fewer synthetics you use, the more likely they'll want to stick around. One of my favorite strategies for building looser, worm-friendly soil is layering. Instead of digging amendments in, I simply layer compost, mulch, and organic matter on top and let the worms do the mixing for me. It's slower than using a shovel, but it's infinitely more effective in the long run, and far less backbreaking. Just like us, worms don't want to eat the same thing day in and day out. They really thrive on variety. A garden that offers a mix of plant debris, cover crops, compost, and natural mulches will support a much larger and healthier worm population than a space that only gets one type of input. For example, adding only grass clippings can actually create a slimy anaerobic mess that worms don't enjoy, but when you mix those clippings with shredded leaves, straw, and kitchen scraps, you've got the perfect buffet. The diversity also encourages a broader range of soil microbes, which worms feed on as well. In my beds, I often layer a mix of chopped garden trimmings, fall leaves, and kitchen compost under a blanket of mulch. This layered approach doesn't just feed worms, it keeps them interested, active, and multiplying. The more diverse the menu, the more resilient your worm population becomes. You know, the more time I spend gardening, the more I realize that worms are not just passengers in the soil ecosystem, they are really the drivers. They aerate the soil with their tunnels, making it so much easier for roots to spread. Their castings improve nutrient availability and honestly they boost soil fertility. They even play a role in balancing soil pH and supporting beneficial microbial life. Every handful of soil rich with worms is a sign that your garden is thriving naturally, without the need for constant synthetic inputs. By creating a worm-friendly environment, you're setting up a self-sustaining system where the soil feeds the plants feed the worms, and the cycle just keeps going. Attracting earthworms isn't about buying fancy products or micromanaging your soil, it's about creating the kind of environment where they naturally want to live. Give them organic matter, keep the soil moist and covered, avoid overworking the ground, balance the soil conditions, and provide a diverse diet. If you take anything away from today's lesson, let it be this. Earthworms are your silent partners in gardening. Treat them well, and they'll reward you with the healthiest, richest soil you've ever worked with. And if you found this guide helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Soil Sage Chronicles and share this with a fellow gardener. Together, let's spread the word that the real magic of gardening happens underground, with the help of nature's most loyal soil engineers.